St. Thomas Aquinas? Is it St. Thomas the Apostle? Or is it Thomas Kempis? So give us a call and you can let us know what you think, which Thomas it is that you feel like might fit that bill. You can give us a call at 621-4110. Again, it's 621-4110. Well, welcome in. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm going to, you're going to have to sit a little perfect right where you are. Okay. Well, this morning we have 3 guests with us that are representing TMP Marion. We have Mr. Rick Binder and 2 of his students. We have Hannah Flax and we have Ava Dentino. And we have several things that we are going to be talking about this morning. So welcome in to all of you. For those of you who, I'm sure Rick is a well-known individual to most of you listening, but Rick is a religion educator at TMP. He's had a long and storied career in many various areas. He's also a local farmer and he is a track coach and he does so many other things for our youth and our community. So we're grateful to have him. We have Hannah and Ava who are both 8th graders at TMP. And so we are going to be talking a little bit about your trip to Denver, right? Yes. Okay. Well, welcome in. Don't be nervous. You're in good shape and you've got a good guy guiding you here. So tell us a little bit about this mission trip that you go on, that the 8th graders at TMP have the opportunity to go on, and what all that entails.
Okay. So you sign up if you want to go to the Samaritan House in Denver, and you kind of don't know what to expect, but you kind of like, you stay in a place and then you go serve food to all these people. And then you kind of just do a lot of stuff that you didn't think actually happened. Like we went to the Marisol house and learned about like abortions and stuff. We went in front of the Planned Parenthood and prayed a rosary. We went to the Samaritan house and talked to some Samaritans. We did a lot of stuff and it was really cool. And we also went to the Cabrini Shrine.
Okay, and you're doing this over the course of one weekend, right? And Rick, how many weekends a year do you have the option to do this or opportunity to do this?
Well, we started with this with the idea of going once a month, 1 weekend a month through September through April. And it's become such a great thing that we actually added 2 weekends this year. We went 10 weekends instead of the 8. And I would anticipate next year that it could be even more. We will keep adding weekends as necessary. Sure. There's kind of a limit on how many can go at a time because at the Samaritan house in the kitchen, there's only room for so many people to work. Okay. Then you're just in the way after that. So we target 3 students. Each of them has to have 1 parent go with them and then 1 staff or faculty member from TMP. And so we get out there and volunteer Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, and Sunday morning at the homeless shelter Samaritan House. And then we have free time Saturday during the day. Like Hannah said, we'll go to the Marisol Women's Health Center and see the great work they're doing to counteract. They're right across the street from the Planned Parenthood that performs 3rd most abortions in the United States annually at one point. We pray there. We see the Marisol Women's Health Center and the great work they're doing and all the things there. We go to the seminary and visit our seminarians. We get to see the Cabrini Shrine, which, by the way, there's a TMP graduate that is the executive director of the Cabrini Shrine.
Oh, fantastic.
And so we get to go up there and see that and do different things. But the entire weekend, much to the chagrin of these young ladies, there was no shopping involved. They didn't get to go to, the 16th Street Mall or anything.
That's a different trip.
Yeah, they had to just focus on prayer and mission.
Yeah.
And nobody complains about that. It's a great weekend. Yeah. And the parents love it as well. I'd let the girls, I'll get off the air here now and let the girls talk about what they experienced.
Sure.
But that's kind of what they do.
Excellent. So what prompted you to go on this trip? Like go ahead.
I mainly saw older people or like upperclassmen go, and I thought it was a great opportunity to just like see what I haven't and like experience more, and just seeing the way that like people come back and they feel like so good and like just like excited about what they saw so that they can like pray more about it and see more about it. It really inspired me to go.
Okay. What about you, Hannah?
It just like, you could tell that whenever someone went, they changed and they like became more aware
Mm-hmm.
of how some people have it, and some people have it a lot differently than we do.
Sure. And so what were your roles when you got to the shelter? What did you have to engage in or do?
We had, especially in the morning, just like saying good morning, how are you? Like, have a good day, and just like interacting with them. But that it was really special to just like see them be so excited, especially like that early in the morning.
Yeah.
That people are here to just like talk to you and just like have fun.
Specifically, where were you when you did that? What were
Yeah.
you
Oh.
doing?
Yeah, what was
We
your
were
job?
serving food.
Well, serving food, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was really your job was to help in the kitchen and help
Yeah.
provide those meals to those individuals.
Mm.
Okay. Did you know, I mean, obviously there was a method of picking who went on your particular weekend. How was it decided that you would go do that, like your group? Or did you two go on separate weekends?
No, we went together.
You went together. Okay. And how was it decided? You just signed up? That was a good weekend for you to go?
We signed up and like got put in groups of 3.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So, what were your expectations? I mean, obviously, Rick told you a little bit about what to expect. You've heard the experiences of other students. Were there any expectations that you had? You're like, oh, I think this is what this is going to look like?
I had like I just thought of how I thought it would be,
Mhm.
but it was totally different. It was something I did not expect.
In a good way or a bad way?
A good way.
Okay.
It was like I thought the people would be a lot different, but like I like how they talked to us. They weren't afraid of us, and they just talked, and it was really nice.
Good.
Yeah, I agree with Hannah. It was definitely not what I expected.
And so, it's something that's a little bit different. What was you mentioned working in the kitchen. What was a typical day like? How long did you work in the kitchen? I mean, what time were you getting there? I know that those, sometimes those food lines start very early. What did that look like for you?
We woke up at about 5:45, or we started driving at 5:45 in the morning and got there around 6, and we worked till 8, I think, or 7:30. 7:30, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of just, I don't know. You go, Eva.
I mean, like, yeah, we would get there around 6, obviously, like, get our stuff together, whatever, and then we would decide, like, who's doing what that day.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, work till 7:30, clean up a little bit.
Okay. And then you had a break in the middle of the day and then you
Yeah.
came back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what roles did your parents play? I don't know which parents went with you, but what did they do while you guys were working on that food line? Were they with you?
Some of them prepared the food and like cut onions and potatoes and stuff. And then some of the others, or one of the others, would take the room numbers and like their names and stuff and how many meals they needed.
Okay, so everybody had a job, everybody had a
Yeah.
role, right? Okay, very good. Well, I'm going to pause really quickly and I'm going to repeat our trivia question. So which Thomas is TMP Marion named after? Is it A, St. Thomas More, B, St. Thomas Aquinas, C, St. Thomas the Apostle, or D, Thomas Kempis? So please give us a call at 62. Oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up the number here. Give us a call at 621-4110 and answer that trivia question for us. And if you want to make a donation during that call, we would be more than happy to accept that. We've got volunteers ready at the phones to answer those trivia questions, or to get your answer for those trivia questions, and also to take your pledges. So ladies, when you were starting to talk to people, did you get to know their stories? And what kind of stories did they share with you that really had an impact on you?
We talked to them a little bit. Most of the time it was giving them the food and cleaning and stuff. But we did talk to them a little bit and got to hear a little bit about their life and their story and how they are. There was a guy that was really interesting about Bill Self. We brought up him several times, the Jayhawks basketball coach.
Uh-huh.
It was fun to talk to that guy.
Okay. He was a basketball fan, apparently.
Yeah.
And apparently somebody, that he had a link to Kansas in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Very good. What about you, Ava?
I mean, I talked to them a little bit, but just like seeing from like where they are, you could kind of tell just a little bit, but we didn't really get their full story, but just like talking to them, it kind of just like showed a little bit.
Okay. And so, again, we are talking to Hannah Flax and Ava Dentino and Rick Binder from TMP Marion. And they are talking about their experience with the Samaritan House, as well as some of the other experiences they had while in Denver serving on a mission trip. How did serving, and for those of you, I guess, who don't know, Samaritan House serves the homeless population through food, shelter, as well, temporary shelter. And so, how did serving at the shelter change the way you viewed people who are experiencing homelessness?
It kind of showed me just like, even if someone like doesn't look that way, like it doesn't mean that they're not struggling with it. And just like realizing that like some people have it way harder than others really kind of just like changed me. And just because I saw the difference, and it really showed me like how blessed I really am.
Yeah. It made me feel more thankful and grateful for everything I have and all the opportunities I get.
Sure. Age-wise, who is this Samaritan House serving?
There was like little kids, there was girls our age, all the way up to older elderly people.
Okay, so you saw a wide variety of humanity each day. Did you typically see the same people come in each of those 3 days that you were there, or was it a mix of, new people all the time?
Yeah, we saw a few times we saw like new faces, but pretty much every day that we served there were the same people.
Okay. What about this experience touching your faith life? How does this experience impact that faith life that you're living?
It showed that we need to be mindful of how others are, and that God blesses everyone, and that he blesses people differently, because you have to give to God for him to give back to you. So they are trying to find their place. They're trying to connect with God so that they can keep believing. And it was really like touching to see how they kept going and kept trying and never gave up, and that God could still be part of their lives in that.
Okay. Do they have any sort of, obviously this is a homeless population, and so you've got people from various backgrounds. Did any of them share their stories of faith with you, or did they, what kinds of impact did faith have on their lives, if they were able to share that with you at all?
I feel like they showed it definitely a little bit. I saw like a few people like praying before their meals, which I thought was like very touching, and I was just very like happy that they were, because obviously they're in a hard place and they want God to like help them to get out of it.
Sure.
But yeah, it was really like fun to just like see that they're like praying to God about it,
Right.
and just like seeing that.
And so not only did you help at the Samaritan House with the homeless population, but you also got a chance to serve, even just through your prayers and your presence, at Planned Parenthood of Denver and at the Marisol House. So what kind of impact did those two experiences leave on you? Have you ever done anything like that before, or was this your first time?
That was first.
Okay, so how did that impact you?
Well, when we went to pray at Planned Parenthood, we prayed a rosary, and our parents kind of explained what they do with the abortions and like how they do that to the moms. And then we went to the Marisol House, and it like changed everything, because they like try to talk people out of doing that, and they want people to keep their babies, and they help them. And like, even if the women can't afford it or can't really do much about it and don't know what they could do with another life and body with them, then they have the stuff they need and all the resources that they need to have.
Okay. Rick, I know that homelessness, unplanned pregnancies, or pregnancies that are at risk of being terminated, abortion, all of that, that's some heavy stuff, right? That's heavy topics. And what kind of impact do you feel like this is having on, bringing people the ages of these girls, because you're what, 13, 14? How does that impact maybe their future? Because you've seen multiple years of students doing this now. What kind of impact does this carry through their high school career?
you can see a significant change in their attitude and approach to things when the young people come back. You can tell, just not in a big way where they're just, running around doing something crazy, but you can just tell they do feel more blessed in their circumstances, what they have in their family life, the gifts that they have. But they also, I think it kind of instills in them a desire to want to continue to do this. Many of our high school students that have gone to the Samaritan House in Denver as eighth graders want to do more. I've taken high schoolers back out to the Samaritan House on a different weekend because they wanted to go. They'll go on the week-long summer mission trips. You can tell they want to be more active and involved in being a missionary and living their life that way. It also just the things, the Samaritan House itself is a big part of that, but we make the whole weekend about mission. So when we go to Planned Parenthood and the Marisol Women's Health, I think that impacts, and not just the students, but I think it impacts the adults that go as well. And understanding sometimes, we know that this bad thing is out there, but when you actually see it right there in front of you, and maybe the girls could talk about this a little bit, but the contrast between this facility with this big fence and a black wrought iron gate that seems very foreboding and just, it's not a welcoming, warm place. And across the street and down just at the corner is this walking prayer garden with the Stations of the Cross prayers in this beautiful prayer garden. And just this tiny little house that would look like, gosh, what could you do in that house? But you walk in that house and immediately you feel the welcoming and the presence of Christ. They have a chapel in the house where they have mass on a regular basis. The tabernacle looks out the second story window of the house and looks right over the top of the gates of Planned Parenthood. So Christ is always there, present, trying to protect the women and even the men that are involved with this and the babies. And you go in there, there's a little staircase goes up and there's pictures of babies all on that wall and many of those babies are because women just couldn't go through with going to Planned Parenthood. So they turned the corner and went to the Women's Health Center and chose life. But there's some that even chose that after they had started the abortion process through the abortion pill, and they were able to reverse it and save those babies. But it's a full service ministry. I think the number that Mary, the lady that's in charge there, told me was they gave out over 2 million diapers a year ago.
Oh my goodness.
So on an annual basis. So they walk with these women. They have a progression. There's another location where once they have the baby, if they are homeless, they have a place where they can get an apartment, get a job. We helped decorate a year and a half ago at Christmas time. We helped decorate for their reunion party. And there was like 80 women and children that came back that had been through the whole program and now had their own jobs, had their own apartments, had their own lives, and were raising their children productively and integrating them into society in a really great way. So they get to see the reality of this. They talked about the people they served lunch. So sometimes my students, I don't want to be in school today, or I don't want to be in your class, but they served meals to students that, where do they go to school? What do they do every day? What's their life look like? How nervous do you get if you go into a new environment as an eighth grader and worry, gosh, I'm not going to know anybody. But yet that's the reality of life for some of these young people because they get moved around all the time. So they see a lot of different things that they experience. Samaritan House is a great story in itself. They have over 300 residents. Those residents aren't certain goals of getting jobs and establishing their own bank accounts so that they can go out and be self-sufficient. And they have to meet those criteria or they get asked to leave and they have to stay away for a year before they can come back and try again because they make room for the next person to try to improve themselves. And that sounds very harsh that they would kick somebody out, but yet the goal is to help them be self-sufficient, not to enable them to continue to rely on other people to take care of them.
Right.
So it's really a great story. And And there's a lot that goes back to it. But it has a connection to Hayes. The chaplains there have been Capuchins forever. And many of those Capuchins have served at TMP. And, we also know as Thomas More Prep Marion, in case somebody hasn't answered the trivia question yet.
Oh, there you go.
Did I
Give
give
him
a
a
hint?
big old hint. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
And so, we have a great history with them. And many of the Capuchins that have spent time at TMP here in Hayes at the parishes have a history with the Samaritan House in Denver. So it's just this whole connection. They do have a chapel at the Samaritan House. They have mass there regularly. Anybody can go in and pray at any point in time. And I've already went in there and prayed, and there were residents in there praying. So I think God is very much a part of what the Samaritan House does.
Okay. Well, this is a good place to pause. Again, if you didn't hear Rick's lovely hint to anyone who might be listening and wondering, which Thomas is TMP named after? The options are A, St. Thomas More, B, St. Thomas Aquinas, C, St. Thomas the Apostle, or D, Thomas Kempis. And we'll give you a few more minutes to call in with your answer to that. And if nobody gives that answer, we'll let one of these ladies share that answer with you. But I do want to remind you that we are meeting today. We are aiming for a goal of $125,000 over the course of the next 4 days during this spring carathon with the theme, Behold, I Make All Things New. Again, our goal is $125,000, and we ask you to prayerfully consider making a donation to help us meet that goal. This goal helps us keep the lights on. It helps us evangelize to people who are traveling through this area, who live in this area, and anyone who might just need a little bit of inspiration. This is the mission of Divine Mercy Radio, is to provide programming to aid in that goal. To make a donation, you can give us a call at 785-621-4110. You can also call that same number to answer the trivia questions that we have. Again, it's 785-621-4110. You can also donate online to dvmercy.com. And we would encourage you to visit our dvmercy.com website so that you can keep an eye on the thermometer and just how much progress we are making in that endeavor to raise $125,000. As a reminder, we do have a matching funds pool that's available, and we started the day with $30,150 in matching funds. Some of that has been taken up by advanced giving, but we still have a significant portion of that available, so you can call in, make your donation. It will be doubled dollar for dollar until that pool of $30,150 is taken up. And again, you can give us a call at 621-4110 to make that pledge and donation. So to get back to our interview, again, we are talking with Rick Binder and TMP students Hannah Flax and Ava Dentino about their recent mission trip to Denver. And so, Rick, you were talking just a minute ago about the fact that there's this stark difference between one element of your journey, which was to visit both Planned Parenthood and the Marisol House. So, ladies, what did that? Because it's obviously a very visual difference. What did that? How did you react to that?
Well, just like driving by Planned Parenthood and then just stopping to pray a rosary there, I felt like it was very like heavy and just like almost like a dark place or some like thing, I don't know.
Yeah,
And then,
good description. Yeah.
And then going to the Marisol House, I felt like it was like a very like calming and just like gentle home that like anyone is welcome there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they helped a lot, and it just felt like the right place, and it felt like so much different from just being outside the Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, like Mr. Binder said, Planned Parenthood was so large and very big and like scary and like gloomy looking, and then you saw this sweet little cottage with the with the Stations of the Cross in the backyard. Mm-hmm. It was so sweet. And
now, did you get to meet anybody? Either, I mean, obviously there's rules and laws about, how close you can be to pray and to demonstrate for, against Planned Parenthood. But even just in going to the Marisol House, did you get to meet anybody? Did they give you a tour? Did they talk to you? Did you see people maybe even going into Planned Parenthood that were, going to have this major event happen in their lives that day?
When we got to Planned Parenthood, there was some people outside praying and stuff and kind of like against the abortions and stuff. And it was like, wow, they are trying to prevent this in a much different way. And then we prayed, and then we did get a tour at the Marisol house from a lady named Mary. I forgot her last name, but she gave us a tour and showed us every room and like the room they store all their stuff in and all their supplies for the parents and the moms.
Okay. All right. How did, you mentioned, Rick, that there was a chapel. You mentioned that there was, a chapel not only just at Samaritan House, but in these other, like in let's say a Samaritan House, Marisol House. And then you also got a chance to go to the Mother Cabrini Shrine, which is outside of Denver. So how did prayer play a role in this trip for you?
I think just like seeing the people and just like having those experiences just like kind of made like an unanswered prayer, basically. Just like always wanting to go there and always like wanting to see like what it was like and like how I can help. It really showed me that like people do go through this, and like being able to help really like makes them happy and makes other people like happy. And just like praying to God about it really just like showed me that it was a great thing.
You could tell we meant a lot to them when we were giving them the food. Like, it was a very meaningful thing to them, and they were very grateful for us.
Good. Well, I want to break in here. Leon Staub, I believe if it's the Leon Staub I know, Leon Staub from Hayes answered the question. And the Thomas that TMP is named after is?
St. Thomas More.
There you go. So St. Thomas More is the saint that TMP is named after. So thank you, Leon, for calling in to answer that. We also want to thank Loretta Kermer of Great Bend, who called in to pledge $100, and she said you were doing a great job. So good job, ladies and Rick. Good job, ladies and Rick. I might either have you move just a little closer to your mic. There you go. Let's talk a little bit about your Mother Cabrini Shrine experience. Is that the first time that you have visited?
Yes.
And what did you think? Because that's a stunning place to visit.
It was beautiful, gorgeous. We like climbed all those steps. That was
very humbling.
It's a leg day, right?
Yeah,
it was leg workout day.
Yeah.
And was the weather nice for your visit out there?
Yeah, it wasn't like too hot, but like it wasn't like freezing.
It was a little chilly, but that's it. It was pretty nice out.
Nice.
It was really a beautiful scenery and stuff. Seeing the mountains and then getting up to the ginormous statue.
And it's huge.
Yes.
And to have the rock, the heart in the stone there. When I know that other people, Rick, you've been on these trips before where it's been snowing and they still try to make it up the stairs to the Cabrini Shrine. So you had good experiences there. What were other people in that area doing? What were other people who were visiting that shrine at the same time you were? What were they doing?
A lot of them were taking pictures, and I saw a few people actually like praying, because there's like crosses and then there's like little stations there, and I saw a few people praying like on our way up, and I thought that was really cool. And just like seeing everyone, it was almost like silent up there, because like you're just like honoring like God, and then just like seeing Cabrini, it was just like a very like sacred place, and everyone felt that, and it was just like very.
Had you been familiar with her story before you went on this trip?
We went to the movie, or like watched the movie, and that was a very like powerful thing. It was kind of scary, but it was pretty good, and it showed a lot about her story and who she was.
Okay, all right, excellent. What was the most difficult part of this trip for each of you? Was there any challenges? Were there any things that you're just like not terribly comfortable with this? There's something between these two. For those of you who are just listening, there's a lot of nonverbals happening.
I think others could agree with this, but just sleeping in the environment that I did, I wasn't used to that, and just like seeing it, it was just like it's something to get used to.
Kind of a dorm environment.
Yeah.
Yep.
But overall, that was really it.
I feel like we all had to get out of our comfort zones a little bit, but we all made it through because we knew we were doing something good for God and helping all these people. So it was definitely worth it.
That's right. Excellent. And do you have anything you want to add, Rick?
Yeah, it's not just the girls, it's the moms that were along on the trip. They were wondering, why can't we just stay in a hotel and everything? But we do stay in a great place. It's a place we've stayed many times. I've built a relationship with Annunciation Parish in Denver. The pastor there is no longer there. He's down in Wichita now, but many people in Hays, Kansas would be familiar with Father Charles Polifka. Spent time at Thomas More Prep Marian. He's one of the points of light on the wall at Thomas More that we've honored. He was the pastor at Annunciation Parish, and we've stayed in a house that they own right next to the parish. It was actually the house, and it always makes the students nervous because I make sure that they know ahead of time that it is the house where Father Paulinus Carlene was stabbed several years ago. He survived that stabbing, but it is the house he was attacked. And we stay there. It's a good neighborhood and a safe neighborhood, but an older neighborhood. And now we stay in a house that's a block away from the parish, owned by a family. Their students attend the grade school there at Annunciation. They are a great young family. They live there, but they let out their basement and rooms in their house to people. There's a priest stayed there one time that was on a 3-month sabbatical. I've stayed there when he was there. There's sometimes college students that are coming in to do work with Christ in the City missions. There was Benedictine students there one time. There were students there from Philadelphia, from a Catholic college in Philadelphia, just all different groups. And it's uncomfortable because it's a different neighborhood than we would experience in Hays, Kansas. It's uncomfortable because strange environment. We're not used to going into a stranger's home and staying overnight in their home. And then the basement is a bunk house type thing. There's several bunk beds, and it's a very old house. Actually, it was a farmhouse. It's in the very middle of Denver now, but at one time back in the 1800s, it was a farmhouse, and it's a historic site. And a big 3-story tall house. And down in the basement, the steps are very steep, and I grew up not in that big of a house, but I kind of grew up in that environment. Our students today don't know that environment at all. And so it's an uncomfortable thing. And even the parents sometimes are kind of uncomfortable with it. It is not the Ritz-Carlton. It is not, a Marriott or a Hyatt. It's, but a great family, and we stay there, and it makes them nervous, but that's part of the experience, is knowing, and it's better than all the people that they served. They stayed in a better circumstance because many of the people they served, now in the homeless shelter itself, where the residents stay overnight, okay, they have nice accommodations. Did any of your moms go down to help with the Holy Rosary?
Yeah.
Those are women that would have loved to have stayed at the house that you guys stayed at. Did your parents share any of their stories of the Holy Rosary?
Yes. No.
No? Okay.
I don't know.
Kind of. They kind of told us it was a lot better than the upstairs, the people we were serving, because my mom went and then Ava's mom went down there, and they kind of felt a lot different meeting those people compared to the ones that were who we were serving. And I think it was even more powerful and meaningful that they were there, because those ladies get treated even worse, they got treated even worse, and that this is everything for them.
Right.
So to make sure, the people serving at the Samaritan House didn't treat the ladies worse. Their circumstances are worse.
Sure.
Because they don't have a place to lay their head at night that's nice and safe inside. These are women that are out on the street. They everything they own, all their possessions, they carry in a bag with them. That's their life. Most of them have some kind of struggles with some addiction or mental illness challenges, or just abandonment. They feel nobody in their life thinks their life has any value. And so they live a life that indicates that's their life. There's no
Yeah.
value to them being anything, anywhere, or doing anything.
Right.
Very difficult to see.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, before we move on with our conversation with these ladies and with Rick, I do want to interject with another trivia question. So, for our 8:30 hour or 8:30 half hour, which priest has been acting as chaplain at TMP for the past year? Is it A, Father Damian Richards, B, Father Nick Parker, C, Father Curtis Carlson, or D, Father Brian McCaffrey? Again, which priest has been serving as the chaplain at TMP this past year? Is it A, Father Damian Richards, B, Father Nick Parker, C, Father Curtis Carlson, or D, Father Brian McCaffrey? You can give us a call at 621-4110 to answer that trivia question or to make your pledge for Divine Mercy Radio in helping us reach that $125,000 goal. I do also want to recognize a few of our donors who pledged $100. The Knights of Columbus from Munger donated $500, which doubles to $1,000. And then we had Mark and Dora Liker from Munger who donated $250. So you ladies are just doing so well. You're inspiring people to call in and make these donations. So we encourage those of you who are listening to please prayerfully consider a donation to help us meet that $125,000 goal. And if you have answers to any of our trivia questions, please make sure that you give us a call. All right, so we have a few more minutes to continue this conversation with Hannah Flax and Ava Dentino, who are 8th graders at TMP Marion, as well as Rick Binder, who is the 8th grade religion teacher at TMP Marion. Talk to me a little bit about when you got to go to the seminary, right? And you got to do a bit of a tour. What was that like for you?
I thought it was really cool, just like seeing like what going into the priesthood looks like and like what they do, and like seeing their church and just like their library and like all these very like beautiful pictures, and just like seeing all those priests that have like gone up to priesthood from that. I thought it was really cool.
It was a really fun experience. You realize that like they don't just sit around and like pray and stuff. They definitely can do other stuff. Like they had a gym, they had a soccer field. They had like we got to see their barber shop and like their basement
nice.
where they get to play video games on the weekend or like one day a week. And that was cool that they kind of have like a life outside that, but they somehow always incorporate it with God and in prayer, and they always do it together, and they always grow closer.
Yeah. Did you get to meet any of our seminarians from the Salina Diocese on this tour?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, who's it? Luke and Gabe.
Luke and Gabe.
Oh,
Priest.
yay. All right. Very good. So they gave you the grand tour, and their chapel is stunning, isn't it? It's
Yes.
so beautiful. So what other kinds of things did they share with you about their experience at St. John Vianney?
In the chapel, there was pictures on the walls of each of the 12 apostles, and we kind of tried to like guess what the symbol meant and who it belonged to. So they had an idea for most of them, so we learned about those. And then there are statues, there are pictures. We learned all about those, and somehow like it always related back to our religion class that he taught us about.
Surely Rick didn't plant any of these ideas with these guys. That's good. That's good. So you're recognizing these elements that you've talked about, right? And that sacred art too. You know, all of those symbols are very meaningful and very deliberate. So excellent. The campus. I've never been on that campus. It's large. Would describe what you experienced there.
All I remember, or not really, but I remember the big bell tower. It's like this huge building, and then like, well, the whole thing's big, but like very tall. And then like there's one for sisters. Right? Yeah, sisters that live in a little house, and they like pray about men going into the priesthood. And then another, I think it was a bishop. Yeah. A bishop lives there too on campus. And then there's like a bunch of dorms for all of the men. And then, yeah, a big library. We saw the cafeteria. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the gym,
Nice.
so.
And it is so interesting though, because you talk to Luke, you talk to Gabe, like these guys, the priests that we know, who are serving here in town, and I'll let you guys answer the question here in a second because we did get a winner. But knowing that they get to have normal, like they're a person, a guy before they become a priest, right? And that's sometimes like this mind shift because we're so used to seeing these guys in their black shirts and with the little collar and all this stuff, and you're just like, oh, you were always a priest, right? You've always known Father Fred, Father Damien, all these guys as just always being priests. I remember when Father Nick was just Nick Parker when I was going to school with him. So yeah, it's an interesting perspective. Okay, so again, we did get a winner for our trivia question from the bottom of the hour. The question was, which priest has been acting as chaplain at TMP the past year? And the answer,
Father Brian McCaffrey.
Excellent. And Paulette Reichert knew the answer to that trivia question. So Paulette, we will get your name in the drawing for the end of the day. I also want to thank the Knights of Columbus from the Victoria Council who donated $750 to Divine Mercy Radio for this carathon, helping us meet our goal of $125,000. So thank you, all of the Knights of Columbus councils who have donated so far. Thank you for your generosity, as well as those individuals who and families who have made that donation. We do appreciate it. So we have just a little over 10 minutes left. Who was the third person that went with you?
Micah Shove.
Oh, okay. So you had the three of you. How did this trip impact your relationship with each other? I mean, I know that you spend time, your friends, you spend time with each other, but how did this trip give you any new insights, or what did that look like?
Yeah, I think just like being able to experience those things with each other, like we all three grew closer to God and just like saw like life from a different perspective, and like knowing that us three can like talk about our faith life and like pray to each other is like very special.
Yeah, we definitely feel even more comfortable. We're already comfortable, but more talking about God to each other and talking about our experience there and how much fun we had and how much we meant to a lot of people.
And you weren't the first group to go. So how does this help you relate to the other 8th graders who have taken this trip before you?
A lot of them also came back changed and like a new person. And we were actually the last group this year. So that was like fun to compare ourselves or like our trip to how theirs were. And it was really like cool to see that how we all heard other people's stories. We all experienced all those things and we all got closer to God.
Okay. You have anything to add?
I think just like, especially in our religion class, because we like to talk a lot.
Surely not, Rick. No.
We definitely tell stories, and just like seeing everyone else's stories and just kind of like aligning ours with theirs is like really cool to see.
How many students have you taken again this year?
We took 10 trips this year, and one student actually went twice and would have gone again if we would have let him. He loves it. Can't wait to go again as a high schooler. But so we took 29 total students, 30 went, but 29 total and everything.
Excellent.
So I would also ask the young ladies to talk about what it meant to experience this with their mothers, going on the trip with their moms, and if that was impactful in any way, just in their relationship with their mom. And then they might also comment on, they got to meet Deacon Luke, who is going to be ordained to the priesthood soon, and we're going to miss Father Brian. Oh, we have the question answered already. So they're going to miss Father Brian terribly. They loved Father Brian as our chaplain, and they're going to miss him terribly. But they're also excited about the possibility of who might become our chaplain in the future.
Okay, well, you might be breaking some news here. I don't know.
Oh, we don't know anything.
Oh, we don't know anything. Okay.
It's just hopeful thinking.
Hopeful. Yes, we're praying about it. So what was that like to have this experience with your moms?
For me, like me and my mom, we have a very like close relationship, and just like being able to experience that with her was really fun and really cool. And just like talking about our faith life, because like, you know, like I'm either at like a sports practice or she's driving somewhere or like cooking or something, and just like being able to just take time and just like spend time with like each other, and then like two other like families, or yeah, it was really cool to see, and just like knowing that like she's always like gonna be there for me and I'm always gonna be there for her is like really cool.
Yeah, it was cool to have that memory that we'll always never forget, that we'll always have with us for as long as we live, because we'll always remember that. And I feel like ever since we went, we were already close, but we got even closer. We were able to talk about our trip to each other and understand each other because they went too.
What would you say to, I mean, you were the last group to go for this year.
Yes.
What would you say to those 7th graders who are moving up to 8th grade next year? I'm assuming this is going to continue for next year, but what would you say to that group of students?
I say you guys should go. It's so fun. It's very powerful, very life-changing, and it's something that I think everyone should go if they have the opportunity. It was very fun and very amazing opportunity to have.
It's very like eye-opening to see just like different people and like different backgrounds, and just like being able to serve them alone like helps obviously them, but it really like helps you, especially in your faith life.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk more about faith life here in a second. Hannah, Uncle Cody is so proud of you and says, congratulations on your upcoming confirmation. And that gives me a good segue because obviously you've had this experience now. For anyone who's not aware, we have 3 different confirmation masses coming up at our 3 various parishes here in Hayes. These 2 ladies will be confirmed this Wednesday at 7 p.m. at St. Joseph Parish. So talk to me a little bit about how this impacts that journey toward confirmation and sealing those gifts that with the Holy Spirit that you're going to receive at your confirmation.
Starting from like even just like the start of the school year in religion, like I felt like I changed, like Mr. Binder really like helped us get into confirmation and just like learning about different saints and like seeing what they all do, and just like being able to learn more to like pick a patron saint that we want to like symbolize and pray to. It was really helpful. And then going to the Samaritan house, it was really like eye-opening to see that, and like praying to like my patron saint or my confirmation saint. It was really like cool to see like since I was praying to her, that like she showed me, or God showed me like different like parts of the Samaritan house that like I didn't know.
And so who is your confirmation saint?
Saint Monica.
Saint Monica. Okay. Hannah, what about you?
Mine's St. Catherine of Siena.
Okay. And how do you feel this experience has impacted that journey toward confirmation?
Well, like towards the beginning of the school year, we were all kind of nervous. We're like, what is confirmation? Who's our sponsor? Who's our saint going to be? What do we have to do for it? And I feel like forward in the year, we've like took on more information and learned more about it and grown closer and been like, we all pray to our saints now because we all know who it is. And we figured out their story. We learned about them, and it was very cool. And going to the Samaritan house, when I saw somebody, I would see people all day struggling and stuff. And then before I'd go to bed, I'd pray to St. Catherine of Siena and be like, please help them. I know that they can keep going. I know they can keep pushing through. And I believe that they can do it. And I want you guys to believe in them too. And I know you will. So please just continue to help them.
That's amazing. So Rick, this is obviously a perspective shifting experience for all of the students that you take on this trip. How, I know you've mentioned kind of the impact that it has on these high school students that they continue. What's been the feedback? I mean, we've heard these young ladies talk about the experience they've had, the other kids that have gone this year. What's the feedback been?
Always positive. I cannot think of anybody off the top of my head that would come back and say, oh, that was a waste of my weekend, or I wish I hadn't gone. Most of them come back and are excited for the future. I would guess I would want these young ladies to answer the question as they go into high school. And we offer an opportunity to go on a week-long mission trip with overnight accommodations that are not nearly as nice as they experienced this last time, or they can be sometimes. They can be just fine. Would they be willing to take that next step and venture out into some unknown again and want to do that? And I would believe the answer would be yes, but I'll let them speak for themselves. You know, when I have a young man come back, and I actually was on the weekend with him, and all he could talk about is, can I do this again? Can we only go once, or can I go again? He's gone twice and was volunteering. We needed somebody to fill in a spot, and he was, I will go. And then somebody else took that spot.
Right.
And I said, I'm sorry, you can't. But no, I just, you can see it. It's always hard to put into words.
Mhm.
You know, the young ladies, they've been trying to explain. It's hard to put into words until you actually encounter. And I think everybody listening knows, when you have that real encounter with Christ, you want to share, but there really aren't words that can justify the experience of it.
Yeah.
So you do your best. I know everybody on the radio can't see the faces of these young ladies, but when you were asking questions, or, you know, the nonverbal response, you could just see their eyes light up, and the smile. They couldn't, but then they struggled to find the right words. They did a great job. I'm so proud of these young ladies. And by the way, ladies, you can quit schmoozing on me. It's not going to help. It's not going to help your grade at all.
We're close enough to the end of the semester.
You still have to take the final test, and you know, but no, you can tell they want to answer, but finding those right words is hard to do.
It is. It's hard to articulate that experience. And so I would ask you, what do you feel like this is going to do for you moving forward? How do you feel like this is going to impact you as you transition into high school and then beyond?
I think just like knowing that I will be able to like go on different trips, serving God and just like serving other people, I'm really excited about. And like going on that trip, it really helped me just to like see what I want to do and like who I want to help.
Great.
Yeah. I think it would be a very fun experience to go in high school, and I think I definitely want to. So I hope I get that opportunity too, and I hope me and Ava and Micah all decide to go again and do something to continue growing us closer to God.
Good. Excellent. Well, we're right at the end of our time together. Is there anything else that you want to share about the experience? Anything else that you want to share, just maybe about confirmation or the end of the school year? I know you are both involved in a lot of things. So just pushing to the end, what does it look like here for the next couple weeks?
Lots of track.
Yeah.
Lots of final tests.
Yeah.
But you know, talking to Father Brian helps us a lot. So
yeah, he's sitting out here and waiting to come in a moment. So yeah, and you are going to miss him.
yes.
Yeah, he's been a pivotal figure at TMP for this past year, and I think he's had a good experience. I'm hoping he's given me his No, I think it's been good, and I know that you all, it's been a blessing to you to have him available to you. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Rick, any final thoughts? No. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I'm sure that was a struggle to leave school first thing in the morning, right? Again, the nonverbals, not at all. Well, thank you. So again, we've been talking to Hannah Flax and Ava Dentino, who are 8th graders at TMP Marion, about their experience serving in several capacities on a mission trip to Denver. And we also thank Rick Binder, their instructor, the religion teacher, for his time. So thank you. And thank Mr. Meitner and everybody else for letting you come down here. So, all right. Well, you guys I'll do a few announcements, and then we'll have Father Brian come in. So tell him hi on your way out. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. All right. We want to again remind everyone that we are here with the Divine Mercy Radio Carathon with a lot of information to share with you today. The theme of this carathon is Behold, I make all things new, and we have a carathon goal of $125,000, and we ask that you would prayerfully consider making a donation to help us reach that goal. Our number to make a donation, you can give us a call at 785-621 4110. Again, it's 785-621-4110. Or you can go online at dvmercy.com and make your